I'm telling you, age ain't nothing but a number now. I love it. I love it. I'm going to say it. I love it. I'm going to say it. I think anything is possible now. I really do. Anything is possible. She's the oldest woman ever. She looks fantastic. She's in a white bathing suit. Her popularity has skyrocketed as she's gotten older. And honestly, my hot take on her is, everybody like thought she was a crook, and she was obviously like she had insider training tips and then acted on them, went to jail. But now, I mean, when you see what Jen Shaw has scammed people and done, what Tom Girardi has done from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, do we even think it's that bad? Like, at least she didn't like scam people like these other assholes did. I mean, it's kind of like the Chrisleys, although again, I think a lot of people lost their jobs at the banks that they screwed out of, millions of dollars. So she looks amazing. And I will tell you, that's the thing. I know you guys, some of you have been inspired by my journey. Others of you have been confused. It's somewhere in between because I do tend to overshare, which is confusing. It's like, because you have to try a lot of things when you're an entrepreneur. And I am an entrepreneur with this podcast. This baby is 7 years old. And we've been through a lot of transformations. We were Hey Frage. We've had co-hosts. We have no co-hosts now. We just have friends of the show. We were in DC. We were out in Leesburg, baby. Now we're in LA. But I find here in Los Angeles, one of the biggest misconceptions is there are people, when I go out and do stand-up comedy, when I do podcasts, there are people of all ages thriving, shining and succeeding. So age ain't nothing but a number. And this is why I have such a problem with these fucking complainers on TikTok. Women more than ever. I'm sorry, 2 decades ago, they wouldn't have put an 81-year-old on Sports Illustrated, the cover. And now we have one. Like, women are making progress. I just can't take like woe is me all the time. Some people, yeah. You know what? Some people really do get hit hard and some people get a lot more than others. And that person has the right to be down for a while and reach for help. Everybody has, should reach for help. But I just hate the fucking whining about, I've seen it all over TikTok. So I think I love Martha Stewart. And also, if you are listening to this and you're like, I'm 44 years old, I don't know if I can recreate. Yes, you can. This is like, you could be on the cover too at 81, showing your snatch to Sports Illustrated or whatever industry you're in. Now's the time. Don't wait. More than ever. People are less and less age discriminatory unless you're President Biden. Okay? Sorry. He and Dianne Feinstein. That's it. There is like a tipping point. But you know what? I mean, if Martha, doing terrific. Okay. The other big thing to know, because I will be watching today. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Martha Stewart. Anna Nicole Smith. The documentary has dropped on Netflix. Have you watched? Oh my God, I can't wait. I loved her. Oh my God, I loved her. I used to love her when she would go on Howard Stern, which is really horrible because she was like pilled out and an alcoholic, of course, died of a cocktail of drugs in her system and left her beautiful daughter, Danny Lynn, behind. But, this is supposed to be a very explosive documentary giving us never before seen things. I'll be curious to see because I do feel like we know a lot about her life. She grew up, I think, rather poor. She married that really rich 90-year-old. She had to go to court with his family because he did change his will, I think, in the last year of his life. She got a major fortune. And then, I don't know how much money she actually died with. I don't think it was much because she was living down in the Bahamas. And remember, sadly, her son who died of a drug overdose, and that set her over the edge. It was so tragic, her whole life. And then she had that scuzzball. I'll be so curious to see how they address Howard K. Stern. Here was her longtime manager. Is anyone still following, or no one cares that much about her as I do? I loved her. I don't know. I thought she was gorgeous. I thought there'll never be, name a more iconic modeling shoot than her Guess work, those Guess jeans. I don't know. She was that blonde Marilyn Monroe bombshell that we only get once in a lifetime. Just saying. So it starts today. I can't wait. I'm going to do a full review, but I love to hear what you guys all have to say. The other thing that people are all wound up about is Taylor Swift is being called this generation's Michael Jackson. I kind of agree. I'm sorry. I look, these, I mean, the only person who I think could maybe just neck and neck with her is Beyonce. That's it. I'm sorry. I don't think people care that much about Harry Styles. I don't. Or Justin Bieber or who else is like huge? Selena Gomez. I don't think people care as much. I mean, they have Selena Gomez has like uber legions of fans, but seeing the images of people at these Taylor Swift concerts, like women of all ages, this is what is reminiscent to me about Michael and the Beatles, because it's one thing I think when you can attract like a young audience. I think Harry Styles, although I would go to a Harry Styles concert, attracts younger. I mean, Taylor, it's like, it's nothing I've ever seen. I really do think in our generation, I will see how Beyonce's tour goes. My understanding is Beyonce's upcoming tour is even more, the tickets are even more expensive than Taylor Swift. I don't know. Is that going to hinder who goes? I'll say this. Of course, I respect Beyonce and Taylor immensely, right? But I've never been a huge fan. Like, I've never been a huge stan of either. And someone wrote to me and they go, "Oh, it's so refreshing to hear a woman say that they're not fans of Taylor and Beyonce." Really? Is that where we're at? Speak up. If you're not a fan, you're not a fan. Sorry. I don't play this game anymore of, oh, you know, the Beehive is coming for you, the Swifties. I don't give two fucks. Where's the Beehive live? Who cares? There isn't a hive. Yeah, y'all are online trolls. Fine. Okay. I immensely respect Beyonce. Beyonce changed me with her Coachella, that whole performance that she did at Coachella like 3 or 4 years ago. The amount of time, choreography, meaning behind it, that did it for me. I was like, all right, it's like another level, right? It's like a Prince level. But I'm sorry, I think even if Prince were alive, I don't think he could command the audience that Taylor Swift. These like Taylor Swift sold out stadiums, dudes. I don't even know that we get a Super Bowl event. I mean, Super Bowl is it that is as sold out as her. And I'm going to say it, unpopular opinion, but I think Taylor Swift is actually bigger than Beyonce. I think, and in my measure of this is in the 90s, Michael Jackson played the Super Bowl and he popped up on stage and he stood there for 90 seconds before he even hit a note. Like, he just took in the audience screaming and yelling and like losing their minds. Oh, just a little feedback here. I don't think anybody would do that. Like, I don't think audiences would put up with that shit I think they'd be yelling, except for Taylor and maybe Beyonce. Sorry, I think they'd think there was something wrong with Harry Styles. You know, what are you choking on Olivia Wilde salad dressing? What the fuck? Get going. It's 90 seconds. I mean, I just do. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. It's just how I feel. I think Taylor Swift right now, we are witnessing the Michael Jackson of our era. I do. And maybe we'll see if Beyonce's tour could maybe rival that because people will be so interested, but short of that. The other thing that I thought was real, again, I'm feeling very like inspired today. Okay. The other story I read was and I want to tell you this too, because I would love to do a whole topic on this because I think this is curious about my life too. Lots of times, the things that we don't even think are going to be hits become hits in our lives, right? And I'm wondering for you guys if it's the same with your career, whatever your occupation is, right? You work in business and maybe they ask you to come up with some idea and it's like last minute, it's the shittiest idea you've ever come up with and it's a huge runaway success. And the company is like, "Congratulations, Lisa Ann, you're getting a promotion. This was the greatest idea." And you were like, "Oh my God, I was hungover. My kids were yelling. I was like, I turned on Coco Melon. I ignored them for 5 hours and came up with this like half-ass idea. And now it's a hit." I find that to be so interesting because that seems to happen to me in my life, with a lot of things. And then I was even thinking back to my audition for the Kane show, although I really wanted that. I really wanted that. And I got it and it was amazing. But I'm trying to think of like, I don't know, even like doing when I used to do, Sarah's Dirty Dirty. I think I didn't even think that it was like anything important. And then people would be like, "Oh my God, I heard your celebrity dirt update." And I'm like, "Really? Yeah, I didn't even think anything of it." You know what else it was? Like when I stood outside, when I stood in DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C., in the heart of Washington, D.C., in a bikini for the very first time at 31, I still get people I don't even know that will message me and go, hey, I was so inspired by that like 6 years ago. Like, really? I never thought anything of it. I think we needed a bit for that day for the radio. I was like, I'll go down, get in my bikini. We'll talk about body positivity. Really? Well, the story behind, I got sucked into the story behind the iconic Vanderpump Rules theme song. You know, it's time, you know that it's our time. These are the best days of our lives. Let's raise our glasses high. This one's for you tonight. Okay, those are some of the famous lyrics from the Vanderpump Rules theme song, which of course is titled Raise Your Glass. And its inception happened back in 2013. Fans of Bravo, of course, know and love the show. And the song is having a huge resurgence at various events. People are playing it in nightclubs. They're remixing Raise Your Glass. Even DJ James Kennedy did. And so now a lot of people are asking the singer-songwriter, Dina Deadly, told Rolling Stone, people are enjoying it, and joy is radical in these times. I'm just glad to be a part of that. I'm just so happy that people love it and are rocking out to it in the club. So, but she goes on in this story to talk about when she wrote that, it was with her husband. They wanted to be huge performing artists, like, you know, they wanted to be traveling, doing a world tour, all this stuff. But their manager said to them, you know, you ought to really start writing commercially for TV shows, open yourself up to it because you can make a lot of money, which they have now on Raise Your Glass, the Vanderpump Rules song. She said they did it. They were fine. You know, it was kind of a slow burn at first, but of course this year they've seen incredible, you know, royalty rights from it. And she even went on and performed in 2016 for Andy Cohen and Lisa Vanderpump, which she says was one of the most amazing experiences. It was just so dope, so fun, so welcoming. Lisa was amazing and gracious to me. But I think what's amazing is she says, Raise Your Glass, even though it's been a longtime fan favorite, they really didn't think anything of the phenomenon. She said she's grateful now in the end, but she was so focused on other things when she wrote the song. She was even thinking and plotting in her mind about being on the Oprah Winfrey Show. She says now she's grateful for the song because she's going through a divorce with her husband, who she co-wrote the song with, and they continue to receive royalty rights. For Deadly, the phenomenon around the Vanderpump Rules theme song is divine timing, and she's endlessly grateful for the goodness it brings in her life. Never give up, because 10 years later, something could arise that ignites something in you again and reminds you that there are avenues and there's a way forward. She says that's what the song does for her now. Certainly this song, having the longevity it's had and resurging right now in this period of my life, is so poetic and so perfect. So there you go. I just thought that was so great, right? Because lots of times in our lives, we do throw away shit and then it like catches, I don't know, for me, it's like partnering with David Leontief. I'm sure a lot of you guys that listen to me on Tuesdays are my OG fans that have followed me for 100 years. And you guys know, all my story and, the next, I can't wait for the next chapter and the next to share with you guys. And I get to share along with your lives and highs and lows. But one of the things that surprised me this past year is teaming up with this podcaster, David Leontief. We do 2 podcast episodes a week. To be honest with you, I didn't really give a shit. We do Bravo recaps of Bravo shows. I didn't particularly give a shit about any of I watch Housewives. I've watched Housewives for a decade. So I do know all that's going on. But I never really gave a shit about any of the gossip. I never read it. And then David said to me, hey, why don't we just team up and see what happens? And now I get so many messages and so many new fans that discover the podcast from it. And I'm like, wow, that's something I don't even think I put any thought into until about 2 weeks ago. I was like, you know what? You ought to pay attention to this because people are like, yeah. So just curious if that happens in your life. All right. You guys join my Reddit as we talked about. Love for you to review the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe anywhere you listen to the show. So Spotify, Apple, hit that subscribe button, become a regular listener. Go and give me a review. I'd love to hear, something you love about the show, something you would change or improve on. You're probably like, yeah, stop talking about fucking Bravo or over it. Or that. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye. Bye.